Hello everyone, and welcome to the Retro Seller, where in today's episode we will be taking a look at this, the Data Frog SF2000, which as you can see, kind of looks like a good old Super Nintendo controller, which sort of takes inspiration from the Anbernic RG353P, which also looks like an SNES controller. Obviously this has slightly less quality than that, and it is also significantly cheaper. For instance, I got this on AliExpress for $25.84. You can pretty much find it in several different sites for around 25 bucks, a little bit less, a little bit more, but it's essentially right around that price. What this one sports is a 3-inch IPS screen. It also has a CPU, which is a SL4350, 1 gigabyte dual core processor, has 1 gigabyte of RAM, a 1500 milliamp battery, which will get you about 5 to 6 hours of playing. Also has a USB-C charging, has about 6,000 games in it. It also plays NES, SNES, Genesis, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and some MAME games. So why don't we take a look at this thing, which seems to have been taking the Chinese knockoff handheld community by storm. It's been getting rather popular, and we'll take a look at it and see if this is something that you would want to add to your handheld collection. All right, before we play some games on the SF2000, the SF standing for Super Famicom, I believe, why don't we look at the box? It's not a bad box, just shows you the generic handheld game station. Got some pictures around here, 6,000 games it says. Warning, blah blah. Has the specs that I had previously mentioned, some of them. There you go. Let me just open it up rather than peruse the box too much. So here we have the system itself. We'll take a look at that in a bit. Let's see what else we have in the box. Okay. So we have a standard AV connection to play it on your TV, and the USB-C charging cable. It also, if you so choose, can get a version of this that also has the wireless controller, so you can play it as a console on your TV. All right, so how about we take the console out of the wrapper and take a look at it. How about we take this screen protector off? That's not good. There. Yeah, we got it. Phew, that was rough. Okay, so let's take a look around. As you can see, as we said, it looks like a Super Famicom or a Super Nintendo controller. The buttons are okay. If you can see it, there's kind of like a weird variety of buttons here. You have like 2 concave ones. They're just a little bit higher than these, which are not concave. I don't know if that's intentional or they were just putting random buttons in. Not that it makes that much of a difference. They feel alright otherwise. The D-pad isn't bad. It has a little bit of long travel, but it's not too bad. And the analog stick, which is a Nintendo Switch type controller, it's not bad. It has no down press on it, so not that that would really function too well on many of the games that we have here. You have the shoulder buttons, which are Very clicky, considering that the rest of them are not, but kind of loud. Got some rubbery buttons here. It's the select button and the start button. And the power switch, USB-C charging. There is your SD card, place to hook up some headphones, and your volume control. And if you look back here, it appears to have stereo speakers, but really it's mono only in this side, not this side. And this is where your battery will be located. If you also look, it's very interesting how they shaped it. It's kind of ergonomic. It feels actually pretty good in the hand. As you can see, your fingers kind of rest right here. And it's actually very comfortable. But that's our look at the outside of it. Why don't we turn it on and play a few games? So here, after powering it on, is the main menu. Some of you might have heard this stupid little song in the background here on some of the other systems that we've looked at here. It's extremely annoying. There is no way to turn it off other than lowering the volume or poking your eardrums out with a pencil. Nonetheless, let's take a look around. You have some of your standard games right here that you can't change out. Just sort of like a highlight game. And as you see here, it plays main. If you scroll down, this is where you would do your settings, where you can add your ROMs, do a search for games, change your language, and set it up so that you can play in NTSC or PAL on your TV. And as you can see here, it's Famicom or regular Nintendo. And some games here that you can choose from. Super Famicom or Super Nintendo. Mega Drive or Sega Genesis. Game Boy. Game Boy Color. Game Boy Advance. And back to main. So, why don't we look at some games and call this a day. So here are some Famicom games. You can see there are 868 of these. And it doesn't look like there are any repeats, which is actually a surprise. So it's not your typical ROM dump. Although as I look here, they take that back. Those are different varieties of Hot Blood. Mega Man, Donkey Kong, 1942, 43. It's got an interesting selection. I mean, we're not going to scroll through all of them. Otherwise, this will be way too long. As you can see here, it's got some Angry Birds. So there is some homebrew stuff in here. If you hit start and select at the same time, it brings you to this little menu where you can resume your game, quit, load a game, save a game. So that's a nice feature. It looks like you can have the 4 save states per game. So I was attempting to play Biometal for the Super Nintendo, and it says this game pack is not designed for your Super Famicom or Super NES. So it's disappointing. It's a pretty cool game. Here's Earthworm Jim for the Super Nintendo, and the audio seems a little janky here. You hear it's kind of distorted. So it's not perfect. It's also a little jittery as far as the animation is concerned. It's playable, but it's kind of disappointing. This is definitely not playing right. See how it's stuttering? The animation is a bit odd. This is pretty much unplayable. That's a shame. I'm going to use the analog. Let's see what. I don't quite like the location of it being down here. I mean, most of these games, you're going to want to use the analog stick anyway. I mean, the D-pad. I don't know what happened to the sound here. Oh. Alright, we're just going to play one more game on MAME here. That rhymed. We're going to do Marvel vs. Capcom. We skipped over Game Boy Color because we know those will play. But this will be curious to see if this will actually function on here because it's a relatively low-powered handheld. And this is going to be a little bit taxing. So let's see what it looks like. Right, here's the sound there. A little stuttering. That doesn't look too bad. Let's see. Well, that'll do it for our take on the Data Frog SF2000. It's really not that bad. For $25-ish, you can't really go wrong with this. The build quality is pretty decent. It's not perfect because there's those issues with the audio and the glitchy graphics on the Super Nintendo as well as the main. But the rest of it seems to play pretty good. There's a lot of games on it. It appears as if you can add games to this thing. Just kind of wish it would have had some TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine games, maybe some CPS games as well. But for that kind of money, it really isn't that bad. And I'm willing to overlook the issues that the system does have. But I would recommend it. And I'd say give it a shot. It's kind of worth it. But that'll do it for this. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.